In this clip, we create the ending pipe section. We already have a pivot point where we want to copy the result in. But first, we need to create them. So let's create a simple curve. For that curve, I use the following coordinates coming from the world origin. It consists of 3 points. Minus 0.1, 0, minus 0.5. The second point is 0.08, 0, minus 0.5. And the third one, again 0.08, 0, 0. That might have sounded pretty cryptic. You now take a look at the viewport. You can almost see what this is for. This will become the pipe coming from the corridor, making a curve into the wall. But as with the geometry piece that we created for the lower part, we also need an alternate. We only need to change a few of the leading signs. The first 0.1 is now positive, while the 0.08s become negative. We also need a switch node here that decides which curve to take. So let's just copy the first one and paste it. I'm not quite sure if the curves are now going into the switch in the right order, but we will find out soon enough. First, let's bring this curve into shape. Create a poly bevel node, and we only want to address 0.1. That's the point in the corner. Then increase the offset. To make this smooth enough, increase the divisions up to, let's say, 8. From there, we go into a poly wire. Here we also need to increase. Again, 8 is a good value, and don't worry if this looks too bulky at the moment. We will subdivide it soon. But first I want this pipe to be open. So let's look at the primitive numbers, and the two end caps have the IDs 73. And now we can create a subdivide node to increase the resolution on this. We could stop right there, but it might be interesting to give those pipes an additional detail. So let's create an edge loop. One way to do it: poly split node, change the path type to edge loop and place that loop right here. Then down here in the settings, we can put that created edge into a split path group. This gives us easy access to the whole edge. That makes it easy to create the poly extrude and choose the generated group. At this scale, this doesn't need much. And then down here in the settings, activate the extruded side group. With that group, we go into extrude and increase the distance once more. And there you have it. Easy to make and makes the pipe look a bit more interesting. Another way to grab that edge is to change the select mode to edge and then double click an existing loop. Select it, hit C for the radial menu, go upwards to model, polygons and then poly extrude. And then just repeat the previous steps. Extrude the edge and use the group for another extrude. Now I don't want one pipe. So let's create a copy node and change the translate in Y. When you're satisfied with the distance, increase the number of pipes to an amount that suits your purpose. We're here, we might as well set the normals right here. And then finally we create the copy to point sub to bring this pipe segment over to our end panels. Now we will find out if the switch node will grab the correct. I have to do some tweaking. And this looks not correct. But this was not only the wrong curve, I think I made a mistake way earlier. The pipes seem to run outside of the wall, so we need to react it to the normal. But first let's also pack this geometry. So before I created the cross product of the normal to point either left or right, I also pushed that normal in. But since the normals of the walls are I also push the point out. So instead of adding the normal, I have to subtract it. And now it's obvious that we simply have the wrong curve selected by the switch. So either change their order itself or change the condition from 1 to 0. Now the pipes are on the right side and are facing in the right direction. Let's bring this into the merge and see how it looks with the full geometry. Looking good. And now let's set the visibility flag on the for each end. It looks as if everything was set up correctly. On either side of the corridor we're facing in the right direction, and also we get a different color each time the corridor is. Next up, the middle section.